That's, well, we can get into the quantum, the quantum world that sometimes, other people may not feel comfortable talking about. And the real reality is that everything is connected. Everything is part of a system, and our bodies are a system. Our lymph is part of a system. Our energy centers, our energy maps are part of a system. And so nothing works in singularity, and the face is not, the face also is part of that. It's part of a connection to everything else.
Mm. True, absolutely true. And that's that's why I love the conversation because it's a level of awareness that really nobody's bringing to the table in the same light where we're really talking about the connection between those facial muscles that are sometimes old patterned muscles because that's how the muscles of the face work is they just hold on to old negative patterns and being able to actually release those, right? That we actually have a tool that can release those. We have a system that enables us to find our way home.
Yeah, and the interesting thing that I found about your work is you've really looked at how emotions actually get stored in the face, and that's going to be one of the areas we're going to be uncovering for people. Um, can you share a little bit about that? Because what a lot of people think is that, okay, I've experienced that divorce, I experienced that business failure, I experienced maybe the death of my loved one or my spouse, and
Yeah.
yes, I've emotionally healed it, it's gone. But what's interesting is a lot of times we find that the faces are actually carrying that energy, that there's been somewhat of like a map that has programmed that energy to remain or at
Right.
least be visible. Explain a little bit about what you're finding there.
Yeah, well, there's actually science behind that, and the science has to do with our limbic brain or the emotional part of our brain. And we're 90% emotional beings and really only 10% conscious, like conscious decisions. All of our decisions come from our emotional brain. And so what happens when we have contracted muscles on our face is those contractions, those actual facial expressions message our the actual muscle contraction messages the back to the emotional brain and tells us how we feel. So there's this perpetual loop. So if our old experiences, sadness, trauma, anger, then those facial expressions that are stuck are messaging our brain to experience anger in this limbic loop of over and over and over again, and mostly unconsciously. So we're putting that energy out and bringing that and drawing that energy in.
That is incredible. Does everyone understand that? Our facial expressions can literally be telling our brain to re-experience that emotion again and again. And
Right.
unless we're smiling all the time, unless our face is only recording the joyful moments of our life,
Yeah.
we may not want that, right? We don't want to relive
Mhm.
that same year over and over again. So that's going to be a
Yeah.
big point as to what we're going to be talking about today and how easy it is to let that go. And then the results, well, you're going to see pictures, they speak for themselves. What it inspired you to combine skincare, frequency, which you charge a lot of this with frequency, which is amazing, and energy medicine into one system. This has,
Yeah.
quite frankly, never been done before you.
Right, right. Yeah, it's so what happened was I initially got into energy medicine through acupuncture. I was really sick and hospitalized, had an over a 2 year period, multiple surgeries, almost died a couple of times. And what I realized about Western medicine that saved my life had
Hmm.
no healing system, right? So it has a respiratory system, a digestive system, a circulatory system, but it doesn't have a healing system. So, it really kind of, I was left feeling very not whole. I didn't die. I was walking out of the hospital, but I was not whole. And so, I went into acupuncture school instead of Western medicine, and I learned a lot in really taking it from my personal practice and additional research that I tend to do is taking a deep dive into energy medicine, into what is quantum biology, how does our body communicate cell to cell? What is that, that I call the biophoton highway? And it's, how do you influence that? How do you influence that energy pathway that speaks a language that not only our cells understand, but the person around us cells understand, and someone on the other side of the planet has that same, vibrational frequency that understands what that biophoton frequency is. So it's our innate communication, it's our innate intelligence. And so at 29, I realized when I caught myself in the mirror inadvertently that I really did not like what I saw. That at 49, that was, 16 years ago. I'm 16 years ago. I'm 65. And I looked so much older than I felt. I was doing all the right things. I was eating right. I was exercising. I was getting treatments. I was, meditating. And yet, when I looked at my face, I was like, what is going on? How many people have looked in the mirror and go, when the heck did that happen? Right. And so it really kind of sent me to the drawing board and pulling together everything that I know, everything that I used in my office. I do a lot of neuro emotional technique that releases the limbic loop of unfinished business in the brain, right? Where we're, repeating our old patterns. But what wasn't connecting for me at the time that did connect right then and there was that the emotions are what's getting stuck on our face. And those emotions through muscular tension, fascia, lymphatics are
Mm,
creating a tension that actually is re-stimulating our brain for all of those traumas and stressors that we've had, the area, like I call this area, the life's disappointments, our divorce and our losses is in our forehead, and all of the things that we experience that we just can't release. So I took that energy medicine background. I took the, emotional understanding of the nervous system, and I use in our office, we use what's called an integration room that uses different frequencies: light frequency, sound frequency, biophoton frequency, crystal frequency, um, you know lots of different energy fields. And the purpose of it, and this was a real key thing for me in creating the natural facelift system, which is like, why? But this is what really kind of clicked for me there is that if I'm doing a treatment for someone and I put them in an integration room, the purpose is to create a more resilient body, nervous system cell so that they can go out into the world and not start over in the beginning with what they
right,
came to me for in the first place, right? So that
right.
integration is the key part. It's that middle key part that tells our nervous system, here's the map, here's the blueprint, follow this.
Mm.
These are the frequencies that you need to be vibrating at to have perfect health and that beautiful vibration of a healthy cell, of a healthy meridian, of a healthy, chakra, all of the cell to cell communication. So that really is what led me down that path.
And this really is where we get into that reset protocol where you're kind of resetting your life, resetting your face, resetting your expressions. But as you're saying, it goes deeper in, and now we're talking about cellular resets and mapping resets. So we're going to dive into it. Pretty amazing. And Dr. Kathy, I can't believe you're 65. I mean, you look amazing. You look the same as 15 years ago. So I mean, you're not you've stopped the clock, and we love that about you because we all want to stop the clock. So this idea of frequencies communicating with ourselves, why does that matter for aging? I mean, do the cells actually care? Do they get sort of a blueprint map from these frequencies to how to perform or how to age themselves?
Yeah. So there's the physical and the biochemical and the energy, right? On a physical
Okay.
level, we can talk about, muscles, fascia, lymphatic system, right? On a biochemical level, we can talk about, hormones, neurotransmitters, information substances. On an energy level, we can talk about cell to cell communication in a way of like light energy, right? And so our cell, we do care. We care a lot. Vitality has everything to do with having all three of those systems working. But
Okay.
fundamentally, when you think about the energy system, that information highway, that's exactly what it is. That key word there is information, right?
Okay.
It's the information that delivers so many things to our entire system to tell it how to look, how to feel, how to perform, how to be, how to detox, how to like regenerate and rejuvenate into a healthy cell, right? How to repair an injury, how to repair a cut. This is all there's biochemistry and there's the liquid nervous system on that, but it's the energy, the cell to cell communication that is the key part of our vitality. And it's the part that Western medicine can't put their finger on, but it is key. Without our vitality, we don't survive. So everything in
Mm,
between is the baggage we carry that we have the option on how to repair. We have the option to turn back the clock. We have choices when we can deal in that energy field, in that frequency field where we can reset the clock.
yeah.
And there's nothing else that does that.
I love that your company is True Energy because I feel like True Energy is actually um, it is infinite energy. It
Mm,
is energy that does not wear out, that does not grow
mm,
old, that does not break down. It's energy that does not loop. It's always renewed. And that's
right.
kind of how, if we could see ourselves connecting our cellular structure, our face, our bodies to this true energy, to this infinite energy, then this eternal energy, then it's like, okay, now we have a whole different framework. So imagine that, like connecting
Mm,
the cells to that eternal energy so that they don't tire out, they don't repeat the loops. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we've got documented pictures to show this. So, Dr. Kathy, I know you have a PowerPoint that I'm excited to
I
see, and I don't
do.
want to go too far along, but you're going to show us pictures of people connecting to this true eternal energy. And it doesn't seem like it takes weeks or months. I mean, it may take
Mm.
weeks, but it just certainly, in some cases, it's not even a month and things are different. So,
Absolutely. Well, and for me, I like to see pictures first, so I'm going to start with pictures first, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Do y'all want to see
Because then I can,
pictures? Let us
yeah,
know. Yeah.
exactly. It's like then I can, then I can show you like this is what we're talking about. This is how it shows up, right? So, all right, let's do a screen share then.
She's doing that. Let me know
Yes.
what is one area that you would like to shift in your life or in kind of your
Mhm.
emotional space, or also in kind of how you're showing up, maybe what you're seeing in your face,
Okay.
emotions that you feel like are coming in, or certain ways that your face is changing, and maybe whether that's tied to an emotion. I want to hear from all y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Okay. So I always like to just preface this because they're just like, wow. I mean, this is the opposition that I had when I first started in 2009 is too good to be true. I'm going to tell you that these are real customers, their photos that they took with so that the angle might be the same. It might not have like perfect focus because they're not professionally taken. These are real. So that's I
Yeah.
like to preface that untouched. Okay, so this is actually the woman that you mentioned initially,
Hmm.
who, interestingly enough, this is actually 15 days.
Oh my
The
gosh.
Yeah,
We
and
asked
the
people how long, and I think someone
mhm.
said 3 months. I was like, how long do you think that took?
Oh, that
You're
would have been a
telling
good
me 15
question.
days.
15 days. 15 days. And what happened was her first photo, which was back here, her hair was in front of her face and you couldn't see her neck, but I could see like it was the I wish I had the 1 to 30. I mean, wow. But this, wow, wow, anyway, right? So you can absolutely see the repair, but also look at the release, right? There's this whole energetic release that goes along with like lengthening her neck and being able to, you know, express herself more freely because she's not congested in this area of the neck that holds up our communication center, our bowling ball, I call it, right? On top of our neck. It's our communication center. And so it's constantly, adjusting and tweaking for the communication that we're using on our face. So there's a lot of release that really starts in the neck. So I love that photo. This one is actually, I think this one is 10 days. Um, uh, and it doesn't even make a difference that they're not in focus. You can clearly see the change in her jawline. You can see the lines from the corner of her mouth to her chin have completely changed. And the skin texture is a little bit harder to tell on the before and after on this one, but clearly that's, and skin is one thing, right? But actually being able to change structure is a completely different thing. It's where we really are talking about being able to release those tension, the muscles, the patterns that are not serving us anymore. This one on the bottom is several months. And I am certain that if she went to a dermatologist or a cosmetic surgeon, that they would have told her that she needed to do chemical peels and lasers to get the results like this. And this is just true energy.
Amazing.
All
Wow.
right. So this one we already shared my story on going
Mm,
from survival into holistic medicine and then ending up with a skincare line. So we talked about that one a little bit, but the whole point on that is that it's the reflection. It's what our face reflects in our outside world or to the outside world. That is really what I gained from my having to kind of go back to the chalkboard, so to speak,
mhm.
because how we put ourselves out into the world makes a huge difference, right? So this is a map of the face in on the different levels, and what you can see is that, or what this is depicting is that as we lose our energy in our face, and you alluded to this, Darius, it's the premature aging that shows up. So
Okay.
aging is aging by timeline is optional. How we age is completely up to us. And especially when we know that muscle tension creates the lines and sagging and the lines between the eyebrows, the lines across the forehead, around the mouth, the eyebrow, along that jawline and in the neck. That's not we're not looking at just skin here. We're looking at the underlying tissue, which is the muscle. And the muscle is where we're holding our emotions. And I'll show you more about that. But as those muscles constrict, the fascia constricts around that, and then the lymphatic system is compromised. And so what that means is that we're not
Hmm.
lymphatic system, we're not detoxing. That's the end result of that. The lymphatic system, we're not detoxing. And then as we go back, the fascia, we're decreasing the amount of collagen production, decreasing the amount of cell to cell communication. And then going back to the muscle is the constricted area of perpetual facial expressions, or our emotional trauma showing up on our face as lines and wrinkles and sags and bags, right? So being able to release that restores all of those different levels of our body being able to repair. And that's the thing about energy medicine, holistic medicine. It's about giving your body the information it needs so it knows how to repair on its own as a continuum, right?
Right. Fascia
Okay.
tightens, lymph slows, biophoton light dims. Can you tell me a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit about I love that because it makes it so clear and so simple. Biophoton light dims. Can you explain that a
Yeah.
little bit? Because
Yeah.
that is a new term for I think a lot of us, including
Yeah.
me.
So as the fascia is not only a collagen producing machine, it also is our cell to cell communication. The fascia is interconnected throughout the entire body, interconnected throughout the entire body, right?
Mm,
All of the organs, all the muscles, all of the through all the connective tissue, right? And so it's interconnected as that information highway, right? And as that constricts, our lymphatic system slows, which means our delivery system of nutrients slows, and our biophoton frequency, the cell to cell communication, slows. Biophoton, breaking that down, bio, body or life, photon,
Hmm.
light, right? So we are light energy as our cell to cell communication, as our communication with each other, as our connect. That's how we connect to each other, right? We're 90%
Yes.
nonverbal in our communication. So that communication comes from the information substances that come from that frequency and the muscles that are giving our brain, the nervous system, on how to, how do I connect with this person in front of me?
Fantastic. Okay.
So, being able to increase the energy flow and restore that is what we're looking for. Like, how do you repair that signal? How do you reactivate our body's innate intelligence to be able to perform the way it was meant to perform? And this is why when I first started, I was saying that, it's not about beauty, it's about function,
Hmm.
because being able to release and repair automatically gives us this natural increase in not only our vitality but shows up as beauty. So this is actually one of my favorite before and afters, because it's so telltaling, or telltale, yeah, telltelling,
Hmm.
whatever that is, on a vitality. So clearly you can see the changes in her forehead. You can see that the lines between her eyebrows is relaxed and further apart. You can tell that her eyebrow is lifted and that the heavy eyelid is much more plump and lifted. The corners of the eye is lifted. The darkness under the eyes is gone. The cheeks are more plump and where they're supposed to be, where they're not sagging. But to me, something that's like a wow, wow, wow is the awakened expression. It's that vitality that just shows up for her, that this, if you think about running into this person on the street, right? Or in a coffee shop, and you see her in this before, your feelings of actually empathy go out, because she looks strained and stressed and tired and overworked, right? But when you see someone like this, then what happens is the energy that she's putting out is high vibe, right? So what happens is people respond to her differently because she has that high vibe frequency going out that says, I have vitality, I feel good, I'm happy to be here in the world, right? And this is why it's so important when we talk about, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. This is real. This has to do with our brain, how our brain, creates a limbic loop in our messaging, and how we emotionally feel. And then how we emotionally feel is exactly what we're putting out to the world and getting back.
Yeah, let me ask everyone, what do you see in the first picture? And it's not a judgment, but more of
No.
like, I want y'all to put on your energy, soul healer, intuitive hats on, and kind of like what comes forward. What is her body, her energy field saying to you in the first picture? You can practice being your own energy healer.
Yeah.
Very curious. So y'all write to us. And make note of that. I want to know what you think. Now, we got a question as well that came in, and it's a great one. Dora says, I actually smoked cigarettes for 40 years. Can that type of damage be reversed with energy, with this energy medicine, quantum biology, true energy? What have you seen with people that have like true, what we might call like, damage to the skin like that?
I'm going to stop the screen share, and I'll tell you
Okay,
why.
okay, this is
Yeah.
serious. Okay,
This,
what's
yeah,
up?
yeah, I'm serious now, right? Um,
Oh gosh.
it is never too
Mm,
late. I mean, that is my bottom message, is that it's never too late. And I do realize that this requires a lot of repair to the cells of the skin as well that have been like oxygen deprived. And that is also why I didn't just develop, a frequency wand. I developed a skincare as well, because there's actual repair. And what happened for me at 26, or I'm sorry, at 49, when I started looking for like skincare, like what can I use that's going to actually change what I see, I was really disappointed. I spent money, I spent time. And what I found is that, any results I got were temporary, or, they weren't what I was looking for. They weren't complete. So when I did develop the skincare line, my whole philosophy is it's like functional nutrition. It's like functional
Yeah.
medicine. Use what you know and show up with what you know is going to make changes. And for me, that was about functional skincare. The ingredients that I use I have a lot of highly active ingredients, but what that really means is that they actually perform on a level that is more and deeper than just the superficial. The other is I'm also using like a technology that penetrates, that takes that nutrition and nutrient like a seed and delivers that deep into the cell where it actually can use it, right? So for example, you can't put collagen on the surface of the skin and expect your cells to use it. It's not how our body works, right? So generally speaking, a collagen molecule is going to be too large, but also take into consideration that we're trying to feed it collagen instead of teach it collagen. So the nutrients that I'm using are stimulating collagen production, not just trying to shove amino acids or, peptides into the cell, right? So it's about activation. That's a key part of it. And then the other is, of course, the frequency in it, which just it's an amplitude. It amplifies everything, the results of everything exponentially.
Yeah. So the answer is not too late. And
Never.
that is great news for a lot of people here. And we had some really great energy reads from Raylene, who said density old stress was released from the second picture, the one we're looking at now. Daphne said she did look kind of tired, hurting, older in the first pic, but in the second one, happy, fresh, etc. And how long was this, Dr. Kathy?
30 days.
30 days. So it does not matter what you start with, you're going to end with something, I think, much more aligned to your infinite energy or your
Mm.
eternal energy. So
Hmm.
what's next?
All right. Well, so I actually am, this is actually perfect to talk about right now because I just mentioned, that there's a lot of skincare that I was really not happy with. So when I developed the True Energy skincare line and the wand as a natural facelift system, I knew what the results I was getting in my clinic, in my practice. I wanted to be able to have people use it with their own hand in the comfort of their own house with the first 30 days being able to use it daily. I can't expect and don't want to try to have people come in my office every day.
Right.
For the first 30 days, this was important to me. How can I get this out to the masses at a price that makes a difference, where it's not exorbitant, it's very affordable. It's the idea, like if you were to come into my clinic and do, an aesthetic treatment, it would be $360. And that's only one. You would need 12. So it gives you kind of a perspective on my desire to have this be a tool that everybody had access to. So Dr. Puglise is well known, as it says, a legend in aesthetics. He's written tons of books, he's passed, but written tons of books, tons of patents. And this when I spoke to him initially, he was like, yeah, sure, we can do that. We can do this. And he kind of hands it off to his assistant, and his assistant gets subjects, and the subjects are trained by his assistant, which I don't train them myself on how to use the protocol. And it was in the middle of winter in Pennsylvania, and which, of course, he told me afterwards he wasn't expecting much because of the climate, because of
Right.
the difficulty
Right.
in the climate. But he actually called me after 15 days and said, I have no idea how you're getting these results. These
Oh
women look
my
like they've had
gosh.
many facelifts after, not face makeovers, facelifts after 15 days. And but he didn't know about the frequencies. What he did know is that the one has 800 Gauss magnets, which is super light. So he was like, maybe it's the magnets, maybe he was trying to figure it out, but
For
the
sure.
secret sauce really is the frequencies. So what's relevant about just these top three things that I put in, it changed paradigm, it changed the every paradigm, every parameter was changed on the things that they were testing, like, rosacea, acne, things like that. This is just an example of three of those. And its textures improved by 12% after the first treatment. So this is talking about what the amount of energy that can be activated, and reducing fine lines and wrinkles by 23% after the first treatment. This you can't get with just, skincare or just increasing circulation. The one that's
Collagen, I mean, yeah, the 25% collagen,
Yes,
that's
yes. That
wow.
one's the one that's really super impressive, because people will gloat about 8% increase in collagen production with their products, and the other is that it takes 45 days to just start the production of collagen. This is actually a 25% increase in 30 days. So this exceeds expectations, which is why Dr. Pugliese was so floored.
Dr. Kathy, I don't know if you ever figured this out. Maybe you have, but how much collagen do we lose a year? Like if it's
Oh yeah,
25% increase in 4 weeks, how
yeah.
many years rewind is that? In
Um,
essence, if we look at like net collagen loss.
Yeah, 20 it's so 25 years. Like I'm going to go perimenopausal, right? Right? So
Wow.
after the age of 30, being generous, it's 1% a year. Once we hit perimenopause, it increases. Once you hit menopause, it can decrease by 30% in the next, few years. So we're talking a lot of years of that's actually a really interesting perspective,
Yeah.
Darius, on what does that actually speak
I
to?
mean, you may not, I mean, we don't know if you're going to look 25 years younger, but
Yeah.
you're going to restore
Yeah.
25 years worth of collagen loss in 30 days. Is that even a no? I mean, that's about as much of a no-brainer as I could ever think of. It's like, yeah, I would
Right.
go for that in 30 days.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah, yeah. It's that actually that is very true, because there isn't really, I'm just trying to, like, think in my head, is there anything like, if you did light therapy, if you did,
Yeah.
red light, if you did, is there anything that has that claim? And I don't really think there is.
All right. Well, if it's going to get anyone in trouble, I'll say, just, you know,
Blame it on you.
spiritual entertainment here is what I'm saying. But if it's 25% and you lose a percent a year generally, that's a lot of that's a couple decades worth of reclamation of collagen. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff. Wow. That just pretty much blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So this really just talks about like the frequency infusion, the bioadaptive skincare, and the technology, and then the wand that has a beautiful, easy 7 minutes, a 7.5 minute a day protocol, which is, fantastic, because some of us don't spend enough time taking care of ourselves, but I definitely encourage people to take at least 7.5 minutes to devote to themselves, and, have that be their moment of, and so many people just, even at the end of the day, when they do the protocol, they sleep better, they feel better, they don't have headaches in the morning when they wake up. There's just so much great feedback I've got with that, because they're really resetting. It's not just like you're using this energy wand on your face. There's all kinds of acupuncture meridians on your face that you're actually resetting those meridians. So this is, and the frequency infused in each one of the skincare jars has a little green bead in it that is infused with the frequencies to increase collagen, increase cell-to-cell communication, thousand different frequencies to awaken that communication. And the oleosome technology I spoke about when we were talking about the delivery system of the collagen. So, yeah, it's the turning back the time, like we were talking about, with being able to just increase not just in infused frequency conduction. And I kind of am saying that in a way that what that really means is that it is that cell to cell communication. It is that release of the constricted muscles, lymphatic system, and fascia that are constricting our innate intelligence, and then being able to get that cellular recharge. So I love this photo for a before and after, and I'll tell you why. Is because I convinced this woman who is a dear friend to she was, at least after I showed her this, right? Um uh to do one side of her face for 7 days.
Oh
Now she's
gosh.
had Botox and she's had fillers. And so when I told her, do one side of your face, pick your worst side, do one side of your face for 7 days, and let's see what happens. Because if
Mm,
you've done Botox and you've done fillers, you're doing those to get a result, right? So this was really interesting because it really, I took a deeper dive. This photo is,
hmm.
from when I first started, but this photo is what also helped me to take a deeper dive into like structure, like bone structure. When people say, oh, you lose your bone structure, you lose your fat. I don't believe that. I believe that you can really still increase the integrity. If you can increase the chi, if you can increase the
Ah,
energy, if you can increase the cell, that highway communication, you can rejuvenate all of those. And this photo really shows that. So you can see that, the eyebrow is obvious. It's much more lifted, but her eye is more open. When you kind of like cover one side with your hand and then cover the other side, she almost looks sad on the before side, on what we see as the right side. And then if you cover it and look at the opposite side, she looks like really calm. Yeah, thank you. Really
so
calm
this
and
is the after is right here that I'm drawing the box on, right? Is that
right.
correct? So
Correct.
everything is lifted, is like the scaffolding is back,
Yes,
and
that
she
cheek.
had
Yep.
done a bunch of stuff. Yeah, because it's almost like, people say like when we lose collagen, it's like the scaffolding that holds everything up is just collapsing.
Hmm.
We're literally just coming apart at the seams. Like we're just kind of falling apart. It's literally what's happening. And you've shared
Hmm.
that with me. So you can see in 7 days, this scaffolding came back. It's just
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's
Wow.
one other thing that I want to point out on this, which is
Yeah.
that a youthful face across the cheekbones and down to the chin is an upside down triangle. As we age, and this is where they say that we're, bone loss, where we
Mm,
become more square. So you can see on the before side, her jawline is square, and on the after side, it's more angular. So her after side has that beautiful triangle of
mm.
youth, right? So that was most interesting to me in a 7 day period of time as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. 7 days is nothing. I mean,
Right.
you could have, okay, keep going. These are more. Oh, wow. I've never
Yeah.
seen these.
Yes, yeah, I'm into the before and afters because I just love the not there's just so much to read into it and talk about with that too. So this is I think 10 days. This top one is 10 days. And you can actually really see her repair in her skin. This is something that a lot of times people think, when they're aging, that the eyelid falls onto their eyelid, but by nature, and sometimes the eyelid sits on the upper eyelid sits on that eye, on like the eyeball part of the lid, but it's how plump it is and how toned it is. And that's where you can really see the difference here on both sides. Like on the our right side, it's completely lifted off of her eyelid. And then the puffiness decreasing. With the 10 days, I can, she definitely, after 30 days, I wish I had the 30-day, is even more improved and amazing. And then the next photo, this is 15 days, maybe 20 days. And this is what there's a few things I want to
Wow.
point out on this, is that
Okay.
a lot of times people would say, like, this looks like acne scarring, right?
Yeah. Huh?
And but how can you resolve acne scarring in 15 days, right?
Right.
So what, or someone might say that it's sun damage, right? So spots, right? Sun damage is really common to get these kind of spots, the larger pores, things like that. But the key part of this is the energy of the wand and the exfoliant, which a lot of people underestimate a really, really good exfoliant because you have to be able to break down that skin cell barrier so you get product penetration. This is dead skin cell buildup.
Got it.
Now,
Mm.
there's other things like jawline, right? So you can
That was
totally
the one
see the
I
chin.
noticed a lot. That's got to
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of fluid, a lot of stagnation there that
Yeah,
is
lymph,
no longer there.
yeah, fascia. This is
Yeah.
actually, this is a lot. You're right. This is a lot of lymph right here, right? But when you look at another spot where we consider aging is
Mm.
that the lip and the chin pulls up and this area gets tighter and shorter. And you can see how long and lengthened it is right here. This is fascia being released so those muscles can, release as well, right? So when you look at her mouth as an overall, what I call the area of life's disappointments, right? She's holding that all there. And this way it's released and you're going to feel that with your nervous system, right? Because remember, those muscles are sending messages to your brain. When you release those, you're free, you know?
That is amazing. I'm amazed at just the middle picture, the difference in the jawline.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of fluid. That's a lot of waste that was there, affecting the intercellular communications,
Mm-hmm.
affecting kind of how she looks, how she feels, and that's amazing. And then this next one is really amazing. Looks like a lot of dryness, a lot of just
Yes. Yeah. Well, and
cell
mm-hmm.
starvation. It's like just not getting the,
Yeah.
yeah. Tell me what's
Yeah,
going on here. I'm
that's
obviously
exactly it.
not not a
No, no, you're
scientist.
spot on. This is dry. This is dry,
Okay.
dry, dry, right?
Mm,
But it's not just the surface of the skin because you can see how she replumps. If you put skincare, like if you just did like something that's superficial and put some, cream on this,
mhm,
um, you know, you might get some changes, but you won't get that replump. You won't get that rejuvenation because we're getting product penetration. We're changing the cell and the cell function. So when we have new cells come to the surface of the skin, they're performing how
mm.
they should be.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Mm,
So it's awakening the frequencies, that bioadaptive nutrient that feeds the cells, the functional design that kind of that retrains the flow of energy. These are like the key components of being able to release those patterns, those emotional stuck patterns. So when we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and stop the
oh,
screen share. When we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and use that just to point out kind of the different things that we can do for that short practice for that you talked about at the
yeah.
beginning.
And I want to hear, I mean, what do y'all have planned? You gonna go see relatives? You gonna go see friends, family? Do you have a big date planned? Maybe you're gonna make some radical life shift in 2026. What is it gonna be that you're gonna be doing? I want to hear because one of the cool things is, well, maybe this will help you to release the energy and go forward into that world, into that situation with a new look, a new countenance. Let us know what is going on. So, what is your biggest desire? Darius, I wish I could buy everything on the show. I love it. Yeah. Well, this is something you absolutely will love. So, let us know what you're going to be doing going into the new year and beyond. And as people are writing in, Dr. Cathy, one of the things that we have is a lot of family. We got a lot of events. We maybe have office parties. Maybe we have goal setting or desires that we want to move forward into. And we don't want to carry that old energy into the new year. So, as
Yeah.
we think about that, what do you think would make sense today?
Yeah, I actually am this is a interesting area because we're talking about holiday seasons, we're talking about the new year,
Mm,
and I think that a lot of memory comes with
yep.
holiday seasons, right? Some of them not so good, some of them good, some of them mixed, some of them have to do with like our habits. And sometimes we break promises to ourselves during the holidays because it's a excuse, if you will, to just kind of go off the rail, right? And the reason why that happens is because sometimes we're just experiencing stress. So having tools to be able to, manage that and to be able to just kind of reset, like take a couple minutes and to be able to reset. So that's when you're ready, that's definitely what I want to share is a short practice tool that people can use to be able to reset before they walk through the door, before they
Hmm.
make that decision, before that big interview, before, maybe even a stressful moment that they know they're going to go into, like family sometimes has, some conflict, so things that are going to help you reset so that you can be in your conscious awareness and making decisions from conscious awareness, and showing up as more your authentic loving self.
Absolutely. And one of the things we're getting here is just kind of releasing breath work, yoga,
Mhm.
meditating, kind of being able to stay in that stillness state that we know is neutrality, which we know is 0 point, which we know is part of that eternal life framework. The moment we start to age, the moment we start to die, is the moment we get into duality, right? As we get into he said, she said, we get into left, right, we get into up, down, we get into the weight, the heaviness of our reality then begins to show in our body. And if we can stay neutral, we can stay in 0 point, we can stay in this eternal connection, then we stay as ageless as possible. And this is what a lot of this energy is all about. So, Dr. Cathy, yeah, I think what they want is to come in balance, come in harmony, and be free of all the gunk, no matter what's going on around them.
Okay, so let me just kind of show you the magnitude of what we're doing here because I'm only going to do a few points, but I want to show like the
Oh, wow.
interconnection, right? So this is a acupuncture meridian pathways of just the head and the neck, right?
Okay.
But all of these either start or begin on the head and go down to the fingertips or the toes, right? There's only a one meridian that doesn't go all the way
So you're
to
saying,
the.
just like we said, this is connected all the way through your
Mhm.
body. So while we're talking about the face, just remember when we start to work on a point, this is going through the whole body. So what it, it's like saying, I guess, what you wear on your face, you're also probably carrying in your body as luggage somewhere, somehow, energetically, right?
Very, very true.
Oh
Very
my
true.
gosh. Oh wow.
Okay. So, what I also have my little mannequin here, but it was much easier to show it on a slide.
What?
So what I'd
Mhm.
like to do first is actually just kind of just, become present with your body and doing a few nice, slow, deep breaths. While you're doing this, I like to have y'all do some tapping just below the collarbone. This is connects the lung meridian. Lung is grief, sadness, crying, compelled to order, things like that. So by tapping this area, we're just stimulating that first acupuncture meridian while you're doing some nice breath work to just become centered and awakened. Good. And then what I want to do is you're going to be doing pressure on different points. And while you're doing the pressure, I want you to think about just your breathing and also where you can feel that energy go. So the first one I'm going to have you do, and I'm going to put my hands in front of my face temporarily so you can see what I'm doing, is right in the corner of the eyebrow, right? This is gallbladder. This is bladder. Sorry, this is bladder two, right? So you can rest your elbows if you're sitting at a desk and, be able to just kind of close your hands in front of your face, right? So that you can really feel the energy that you're creating. And just doing that, even just that one point on the eyebrow and pressing up. And
Mm.
bladder one connects with the kidney as a paired meridian. And this is fear, paralyzed will, impending doom. And as you're doing that pressure, rather than just feeling under your finger where the pressure is, think about releasing the muscles between the fingers so that you're actually feeling like you're spreading your your eyebrows, right? Even if you need to put a little pressure outwards, so you're putting pressure at that bladder too, and a little pressure outwards. And feel where that also goes in the rest of your body as well. Like this, I can feel going up on the top of my scalp and coming down across the back of my head. It might be different for everyone, right? And then next, you can do the across the full eyebrow with all three fingers, putting
Mm.
pressure up and out, where you're just releasing the tension above your eyebrow.
Yeah, this feels just like melting. I could just feel this melting. It's
Mm,
really, I'm going to use this a lot. So
yeah.
good.
Yeah. And my
Wow.
intuition, which intuition is really important here, my intuition right now is to go up into the point on the center of the head where if you had a widow's peak, where that would come and put pressure right there. So if you're
Oh, boy, that
move
feels good.
right, right. So if you're moved to do the whole
Oh,
hairline, that's great. But there was just something about the energy moving up that I felt like, let's release that.
that just, it's just like this started to release, then you push here, and it's like, then it felt like the whole head
The whole
released.
scalp.
Yeah, it took what was here and then just went all the way up to here, and like it's just coming out or gone. I don't know where it even went, but yeah, this is great.
Yeah, yeah. And now coming out to the temples, right into that temple area
Um,
and slightly above that, which is where we tend to hold that tension in the side of the temple.
oh,
And that you'll feel actually even a little tenderness. Well, a lot of these you'll feel some tenderness
hmm.
and taking a couple of deep breaths. And now you're going to come in and do three fingers right in front of the ear on both sides, right? So right in front of the ear on both sides. And you can cross your hands if it's more comfortable. For me, it's more comfortable to do with my hand open. And this is actually three different meridians. You're on the gallbladder meridian, the small intestine meridian, triple warmer meridian. So these are going throughout your entire body and resetting anger, resentment, anxiety, um,
Wow.
loneliness.
Wow. Big one around this time of year and the
Right,
different events and
right,
oh yeah.
right. And this gets your jaw as well when you're doing this one. So it resets the jaw. It's a triple warmer meridian. So that's the three levels of our how we hold fluids or how we move fluids through our body. Very important. And then the last point I want to do, so we don't lose Darius
I'm
here.
yawning a lot, which I gotta tell
Yeah,
y'all is release. Like I've yawned 3 times.
yeah.
Just like this started moving, and it's like, okay, goodbye, goodbye. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
releasing, right? So you're
that's
absolutely
right.
releasing that. The last point I like to do is in the center of the chin. And
Hmm.
you can also take your two fingers and do above and below the lips, right? So there's
Mm.
the governing vessel, conception vessel, these 2 points, right? Governing vessel, conception vessel. So you're connecting those with one hand. So that's the conception vessel goes down the center of the body. Governing vessel goes down the back of the body and is like an infinite figure eight loop. So you're doing those 2 points while
Wow.
you're doing that point on the chin. And if you feel more drawn to take that point on your chin and just put it on your chest, if that feels more aligned, which that did for me. And taking deep breath and really kind of find the space of love. I think that's
Mm.
why I wanted to put my hand on my heart there, is just coming from the space of love, that feeling of love, knowing that that moment that you walk into the room, walk into the house, walk into
Mm.
the meeting, walk into the conversation, that you're going in with your heart open and with love as the forefront for not only yourself, but for the people that you're going to interact with as well.
Wow. Wow. All right, let us know, everyone, what you're feeling. I just kind of sit and just wow. I'm gonna use these. All right. So so many yawns. Yeah, exactly. When you're yawning, everyone, that means that there was something that was staying in that energy line that needed to leave or that left. And again, we were working on the face. So and this is connected to the body. So just amazing. Let us know what you're feeling and maybe which one was your favorite, what came through for you. I felt pressure release in so many areas, says Rebecca. Yeah, me too. It was awesome. The fingers on my lips.
Mm.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh boy, we got a lot of folks. Okay, fingers on my lips. Something about fingers on my lips opened up my head. Interesting.
Yeah, well,
Interesting.
that
Why
makes
would
sense
that
to
be?
me.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me because conception vessel and governing vessel are in figure eight, like, and if you're going to focus on your energy and opening up your center, your conception vessel and your governing vessel, then you're actually creating an infinite loop of energy of bringing in conception of all things and then governing them in a way that is that infinite loop. So that is exactly what makes sense when you do that, what I call CBGV connection.
Wow. Lots of people writing in. We're going to share some of what they're feeling here. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Oh my God, I can't believe I signed into this. I really needed it after a stressful day
Mm.
and was doing these things on the bus after just instinctively. This is amazing. So you were doing some of these already, Deb. Well,
That's
now you have a whole
interesting.
protocol, and I love kind of like just following this process here. Feels great. Is there a map or different areas of the face in relation to trapped emotions? Absolutely, there is. Absolutely. I
Yes.
don't know if we have time to share that, but yeah, it's definitely an area to look into.
Uh,
Um,
Yeah.
Wow, a release felt wonderful, says Sabia. Lots of releasing. Felt tension in my head release. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Wow. Feels very releasing, says Kelly. She's been doing this at work. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is just a small kind of taste of what we've been carrying, and I don't doubt it shows up in our face. I don't doubt that, whether if it's in the body, it's coming out of the face. If it's in the face, it's also probably affecting the body. So there's really no
Mhm.
reason to hold on to this at all.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm. The
don't do
issues
it,
are in the
folks.
tissues. Yeah.
Yeah, the issue. Say that again, Dr.
The
Cathy.
issue
The
the issues are in the tissues. Yeah,
wow.
all our issues show up physically, and if they're showing up physically, it's because on an emotional level, they have long been there, long been there. That's always what I say when talking to my patients, and they're feeling really good. They go, "Well, how do I know if I need a tune-up? How do I know when I'm, getting out of balance?" I go, "Because you'll know emotionally first. That's
Mm.
how you'll know first, is you'll feel an emotional imbalance. You'll feel overthinking, irritability, sadness, all of those things that are like just signs of imbalance.
Yeah, and we just did this with our fingers and with some pressure. We didn't even use some of the magnetics and some of the
Mm.
energy infused devices, tools, and creations that Dr. Cathy's put together. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because there's a way to actually magnify this to another level. Would y'all like to learn how to actually, I guess, make this many, many, many times more effective, right, Dr. Cathy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can use the tool for even those. Like a lot of times people carry the wand or two in their pocketbook so that they can use it even as pressure points for what we just did. And then if you are doing the protocol, on that first 30 days, you will find that you don't need to create these releases because your nervous system, your body,
It's just
you're
already doing
releasing
it.
the perpetual facial expressions that are, stimulating the stress in your brain and then having that come forward in our communication.
Well, would y'all like to know the protocol that actually led, and I'm going after what you mentioned with Dr. Pugley's 25% increase in collagen in a very short period of time. I think it was like 30 days, right, Dr. Kathy? Was that correct?
Yes,
30
yes,
days?
that was
Okay.
30 days.
Would y'all like to know? We're going to show you. We may even demonstrate kind of how it's done. Yes, definitely would like to see it, says Kelly and others. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about kind of the whole protocol and the science that's in that and the energy that's in that and a lot more. We're going to talk about it, Dr. Kathy. So, let
Yeah.
me.
So really, when I developed the True Energy system, I wanted to serve it multiple purposes, right? So I did want a full system, and I'm not complicated. I like simple. So
Mm,
it's 5 pieces of, in the skincare system. And there's a gentle clarifying facial cleanser, which has fruit enzymes, and the fruit enzymes are really a key part of helping break down that skin cell barrier on a daily basis. And, I've got actually even active ingredients in the cleanser, which is
we're
unheard of
going to talk
for
about
most
that.
people. Yeah. As well as the oleosome technology in the facial cleanser as well. And then the second one is the scrub. And that was what I had talked about with the pore size and the dark spots that Kayoko had that you saw the before photos. And the key part of this is that it has perfectly round jojoba beads in it. So it doesn't scratch the surface of the skin while it still is enough to break down that dead skin cell barrier. So and then, I love the fragrance of this one. It's so light and refreshing. And I actually, you know me, Darius, I am a non-chemical person. So any mild fragrances are made, from nature. So no hidden chemicals in fragrances, perfumes. There's like 3,000 different possibilities for hidden chemicals in the word perfume or fragrance because it's a proprietary. So they can actually hide chemicals under a proprietary blend and still call the product all natural. It's just beyond me why
Yeah.
we do that. But
Mm.
it's all natural, truly all natural. So then the
Can I
daytime, which
walk
is
through really quick, Dr. Kathy, just where it is and a little bit about this? You're gonna, if you want to follow along, we're gonna talk about the aspects of this and kind of taking what we did and accelerating it. It's at youwealthrevolution.com/Kathy with a C, Cathy 30. And on this page, you're gonna see, how you can elevate
Mhm.
your vibration, release stress, restore stagnation with frequency infused skincare, and really reset for the new year and beyond. And this is, you're going to see our replay video
Mhm.
here. And this has been, mentioned and featured in Dr. Talks, Vogue, She Healed, Insight, Apple Podcast, and the Philadelphia Inquirer, and a lot more. And when
Yeah.
stress, energy blocks, and emotional overload start showing on your skin, you don't just look like this, you also don't feel good, right? That's the big piece. It's not just about trying to look like you're 20. It's like trying to look and feel good as you can wherever you are, but also give your body what it needs. So, yeah, let's keep going here with this. And Dr. Kathy, I'm going to scroll down really quick because I want to kind of show people some things, and we're going to dive into it. Um, Here's some of the ingredients. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about what these mean to
Yeah,
you.
I
You've talked
can.
about things. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can also, if you want, I can also do a screen share for like each
Oh,
each
yeah.
product. All right,
Okay.
let's go ahead and do that. And then all right, so okay, so I already had mentioned the
Oh,
the
wow.
fruit, the natural fruit cleansers. So it's generally resurfaces the time release moisture delivery system that is actually in the skincare, it actually in a cleanser, which is fantastic. And then even antioxidant support. And then the deeply purifying facial scrub has the jojoba beads, the little jojoba esters, and also, and I'm just naming 3 key ingredients. I am stacked with functional ingredients and support ingredients that really make this product, this, the True Energy line,
Mm.
deliver the promise, if you will, right? So this is purifies the pores with the willow bark extract and safflower oleosome and squalene. Again, we're using the oleosome technology to deliver moisture so that this isn't stripping. It never made sense to me to do a cleanser and an exfoliant and strip the skin and then put lotion back on. I feel like your cleansing products should actually be moisturizing. So the protective therapeutic daytime treatment, and you'll notice that the creams say treatment because it's not just a cream, it's actually a treatment. It has a Swiss apple stem cell, which has this amazing story to it on these Swiss apples that are so resilient because they have a natural stem cell that helps it's like the fountain of youth, right? And it helps preserve an apple. So two apples picked off of a tree that this Swiss apple is going to hold those those useful cells for significantly longer period of time.
Ah, yes.
And then the pea and bamboo extract, that's where we're supporting collagen and elastin production. It has the phospholipids and squalane and rose oil that restores and protects that skin cell barrier. Super important during the day to be able to protect your hydration. It also has Hawaiian oils in it to protect from the UV, which is also really important. Restorative nourishing overnight treatment has a resveratrol ferment extract, which the ferment is really the key part of that. A lot of times people will talk about resveratrol. This actually has a hyperlink of the resveratrol ferment because it actually helps your skin absorb it because it's like the gut absorbing fermentation better. The skin is the same way, right? So it has a powerhouse of antioxidants, and then the terpenon, which is an anti-aging and longevity molecule that supports actual cell function, and sea minerals and algae complex for like deep hydration, energy remineralizing. This is where that oleosome technology is going to carry those nutrients deep into the cell where they can utilize it and remineralize the cells, which is the nutrition, right? It's feeding the cells. The intensely anti-aging facial serum has the pea and bamboo extract, which again supports the collagen and toning. It has a beautiful, beautiful tightening toning with this serum as it penetrates, and it has a palmitoyl pentapeptide 4, which is a signaling um, peptide. So it signals for visible smoothness and fine lines. So this is one of the micronutrients that is small enough to be able to communicate with the cells to help increase the signaling for replumping the cell. An apple watermelon lentil extract it's a hydration complex. So this boosts that natural moisture factor that we're all looking for, not only on the surface, but deeper in the cell as well. And
Amazing.
then, haven't talked about the eye. We talked a little bit about the eye, around the eyes when I showed you the before and after photos. This is an area that a lot of women have concerns because the eyes really show everything. And so I felt like it was really important to put some ingredients in the advanced eye repair to ensure that, one, it it it's different skin, right? So
Right.
it's not a plumper cell skin, it's thinner, it's finer. So I wanted something that was still rich in the polyphenols that helped for the lightening and brightening, but was also super gentle. Same thing with the lilium and ginger extract. This calms the puffiness and is soothing, but it's perfect for delicate tissue. And then the Chinese herbs in it are on the far right side where you can see the beads and barks and slices. These all support microcirculation and tone. So the Chinese being able to use my Chinese medicine background to add some herbs in that I know can help circulation and tone the skin. So yeah, and then there's that amazing wand, and then the eye applicator, which is also I think you have a photo of that of the eye applicator
Yeah,
on.
can I grab the screen unless there's
Yeah,
something else you
let's
want to
go
show?
ahead and do
Because
that.
we're gonna
Sure.
look at some of these different things that you're doing, and some of the interesting things about this is there's the wand aspect that actually is part of the application process is using it's kind of like a 0 point magnetics wand, isn't it? And this is
Mm.
we're going to talk about this is Patricia's transformation day 10 to day 30, so it's like 20 days, right? This is just incredible. And tons of testimonials, tons of pictures here that you can watch. It's at youwealthrevolution.com/Cathy, Cathy 30. And there's a story here between the bead and also the wand. Give us that story because it's like a symbiotic
Mm.
relationship that really is kind of one of the secret sauces that makes this go.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Yeah, that's true. So, I've imprinted the beads with the frequencies to help not just, for the design of, activating the ingredients for their optimal performance, but also to integrate between the frequency of the bead and the frequency
And
of
the
the
wand.
wand, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is where Dr. Pugliese was kind of blown away and was like, I have no idea how you're getting these results with these, like they look like they've had many facelifts after 15 days. And this is what he didn't really have in his repertoire of information with all of the research they have been doing.
Well, I mean, he was, I'm sure, studied in sort of like the traditional Newtonian biology, right? But not this
Yes.
quantum realm. So,
Yes.
like, what is the significance of the bead? What do you do with those beads? Where do they go? And then how does the wand interface with that?
All right. So there's a bead in every jar. So I think
Okay.
it's easy to see it in this oil right here. So there's a bead in every jar, right? And those are working their little hardest, their little hearts out to amplify those ingredients and to increase the frequency of collagen production, elastin, releasing the information highway, if you will, of cell to
Mm-hmm.
cell communication and product penetration, love and
Wow.
meridian balance and chakras. So that little green bead is really just packed full of frequencies that are so reparative. That frequency that is also relevant here is that it's the communication. I'll have the wand join the conversation with this one as well. It's the cell communication and the cell health, the vibrancy of the cell that really makes a difference. So
Yeah.
when you're using the true energy products with the ingredients that are activated with the little green bead and you're using the wand, you're actually giving information to the cells and that energy highway
Hmm.
to perform and vibrate at a
Hmm.
biophoton frequency of a healthy, repaired, rejuvenated, youthful cell.
So you've charged the bead with a certain frequency, and that is kind of changing the energetic program, if you will, or contributing to a new program, a new frequency set through entrainment. And that is part of the secret sauce of this. So, guys, and you've told me like your husband will, with all the bottles when they're done, and he has all the beads. He's like, I'm not throwing these away. These are infused with energy. So, I
Yeah.
think you were telling me that he will tape them on different parts of the body, and you won't feel the same discomforts and all that. So this is really unlike anything else, the little bead. So I know people are going to be wondering what options they are, and we really wanted to bring something that everybody could do
Hmm.
today. So if you want to get started, there's a few choices. It's pretty awesome. Um, Tell me, Dr. Kathy, I mean, based on what we've talked about mostly today, if somebody wanted
Yeah.
to get started, this is kind of where they might begin with one of these two options. But they also might want to work on the eyes. And so what
Mm-hmm.
would be some of the considerations between like this first package and then some of these others?
Yeah, yeah. So you're spot on. If if your main focus is the eye, this eye and the eye applicator is also imprinted with frequencies. So there's a
Oh,
green
wow.
bead. Yeah, so there's a green bead in the eye repair uh um serum, as well as the eye tool is imprinted with frequencies. So if
It's
that's
kind
your
of like the
focus,
equivalent of, sorry to jump in, but the
no, that's good.
tool is kind of like the equivalent of the magnetic wand, but it's like designed for the eyes. So it's got the same delivery acceleration method, but it's softer and kind of shaped in
Yeah.
a way that is going to be more beneficial for the eyes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
that,
my gosh,
the
I love it.
applicator, there's an applicator on one side for putting it on, on the eye. And you can even use it in your day or night cream too. You can use it if you don't want to put your fingers in the jar. It's a great little applicator, or a
Oh,
scoop, a scoop. And then the round part of the eye tool is this beautiful, cool, and it's heavy. When you hold it, it's heavy. It's got this beautiful cold retention that
mm,
soothes around the eyes. So you can do circles or drawing lines across your eye to really soothe, repair, minimize the bags under the eyes, decrease the darkness if you have darkness under your eyes. Same thing with the upper lid and on the outside side of the eyes, what people call the smile lines, but they're more like, stuck lines. So it repairs that. It also helps lymphatic drainage a lot, a lot, a lot. So it's a great little tool if you've maybe indulged over the holidays and the next morning you're feeling pretty puffy around your eyes. They really show up. That's where it all shows up. So you can actually even just use that as a tool to get rid of the puffiness around your eye as well. And then
fantastic.
yeah. And then the other two that you were had circled. So when we talk about Dr. Pugliese and the clinical trials and the results that, we saw, the before and afters that you're looking at from the clinical trials, this is the center one. This is the five-piece
Okay,
set with the wand. So if you're
there it is.
looking to, like, I'm all in, I want to see results in, as fast as possible,
Yeah.
that's the way to go. For sure. And then if you just say, you know what, I want to dip my toe in, I'm gonna, I know the scrub's important, I know the cleanser's important, and I really want just the night repair. This is a good place to be able to start on that right side with just a little lower price point for just,
Hmm.
let me taste it, right?
Yeah,
Not
so
literally.
the yeah, although
Although
some
you
people
could.
will do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so if you want to get started like with the same protocol that we saw in 30 days, those collagen numbers were off the charts. It's this center one right here. This is what they did the studies on and saw
Right.
that 25% increase in collagen, which we've said is equivalent to what we generally will lose. Now, if you're smoking or doing other things, you probably lose more. We lose about 1% of collagen a year. Being able to bring that back at whatever level, even if it's 10% or 15% in 30 days, is astounding. And your numbers are off the charts. I mean, even Dr. Pugliese couldn't believe it. So yeah, I mean, that's where you would go with package right here in the center. So the other
Yeah.
thing that you're going to do, there's a lot more here. You get a ton. So you get the
Hmm.
daytime treatment. And tell me the difference here. It looks like the differences between these two are in two different items. What is the
Yeah.
difference,
Yeah.
and why would we want these? I could see here
Yeah.
you're getting this guy here, and then you're also getting this anti-aging, this intensely anti-aging
Right.
serum.
Right. So those are the two that you're not getting
Not getting on the other one.
on the right. Yeah. So you're not getting the daytime treatment, that that protective daytime treatment that repairs, that really sets your skin up for the protecting it from the environment. And then the other is you're not getting that anti-aging facial serum, which I have to say is one of the favorites from from our customers. They love, love, love the anti-aging serum. So those are the two that help to bring that to a price point that might fit your pocketbook better.
Yeah, we wanted to do something for everybody here to make it as affordable as possible.
Yeah.
The other thing that's going on is you're both going to get in both of these the Sonic Energy Optimized Wand, which is amazing.
Yeah.
In this one, you're going to get a free bag, which is always super popular. And Dr. Kathy is going to give you a series of webinars in both of these, just so you know, and free shipping, which is pretty astounding. Tell me a little bit about the webinar and what
Well,
happens on this, because this is just an
uh,
awesome, awesome treat.
yeah. So I there's a few things that I just want people to know that I'm
Mhm.
a I prefer the concept of under promising and over delivering. And how I feel is that if you invest in yourself, that means a lot to me because yeah, I mean I've been in practice for almost 40 years, and I've really have had so many emotional roller coasters on people that I know I can help and I want to help, but it's just timing, right? They're ready, they're not ready. So it's important to me, like when someone invests in themselves, I'm all there. And so that's, why it's important for me to have the videos. So on the back of the boxes, there's a QR code that has video support of protocols, like how to do the protocol, as well as a Q&A, questions and answers. My support team, you will only get Cindy or Colleen. This isn't like a call center. These are two people that they just work for True Energy, and that's who you're going to get. So, and they're, I mean, Cindy has been with me since 2019. So she knows True Energy really, really well. Colleen's been with me for almost like a 2 years. So she's amazing as well. And so anytime you have questions, if they can't answer the questions, they'll ask me the questions. We will, get that handled. But what's also important to me is the live webinars. The live webinar
Mm,
is where, I can show you if an area like I'm confused on this, or how can I have this problem area or this problem area. Is there anything else that I can do? It's just that one, that really one-on-one. I mean, it's a group, but it's that one-on-one contact of being able to answer
yeah.
your question specifically. You can send in your photos. In fact, I encourage it. I
Mm,
encourage taking before photos, and then making sure that you take photos every 10 days, because we will put those side by side for you. Because I can tell you a lot, like, for example, she knew she felt better. She did not realize the
that's
magnitude
right.
of the results that she saw when she saw these side by side, because we wake up with ourselves every morning and we don't always notice those changes that happen over time, right? So I strongly encourage the before photos, and then photos every 10 days.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is fantastic. I also want to share, you've got a pretty amazing guarantee. You want people to be able
Yeah.
to utilize this and feel good about their decision. So we're going to talk about that too, because I used to have a like, what was it? The empty,
Bottom of
the
the jar.
empty
Bottom
bottom
of the
of the,
jar.
what is the bottom of the jar
Yeah.
guarantee? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a my bottom of the jar is that it's a 60-day guarantee.
Yeah.
If you use it for 60 days, you will be at the bottom of the jar. And if you don't like it, you get refunded your cost of the products.
Yeah, even if the jars are completely empty. So we don't recommend you do that. We be in integrity here, but if you use it for 60 days, use everything and you're like, nope, I didn't see a difference, just let Dr. Kathy and you Wealth know. Also, this is important to so many of us these
Yeah.
days as we want to feel better, but we also want to make sure we're doing better for the world.
Yes.
Tell us about this. I mean, you are cruelty-free, paraben-free, 100% natural, pH balanced, all sorts of wonderful things that we want to hear these days. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so these are just a few of the key things that are important to me as a clinician to ensure that I'm not adding toxics into anybody's skin or environment.
That's right.
This should be important to everyone because it's really the area that is becoming more and more apparent that our chronic illness,
Mm,
a lot of the diagnosis that we have are strongly influenced by the level of chemicals and toxins that we have in our body that we are unable to release.
amazing.
Plastics, right?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's all here, and we're super excited to bring this forward for people that want a new start in 2026, and even in as little as 10 to 15 days, you have plenty of time to have a whole new self in maybe less than 30 days. And then from there, I'm very curious to see where Patricia goes from here because it's going to get better. She's going to feel better. She's going to feel more aligned to herself. And you can be like these people here that are experiencing some big shifts. And, a few of the things here I want to ask you about that you have found start showing up on the skin. And everyone, if you're here and you're maybe wondering if this is for you, ask yourself if any of these things have shown up in your life or and now they are showing up in your face. Because one thing, Dr. Kathy, I see a lot of people are saying is, I've been more stressed recently, or since the lockdown and all that stuff
Yeah.
5 years ago, there's been so much of this kind of duality that we've been living in. Even though a lot of that has passed, it is now showing up in my skin and in my health. So, do you feel like you have more chronic emotional stress and anxiety these days? That eventually shows up in your face, right, Dr. Kathy? Or not in your
Oh my
face.
gosh.
Hopefully not
Yes.
so much my face, but definitely not. It shows up in people's faces, right? I don't want it.
I don't want
I don't
it.
want it. And then visible skin issues tied to energy blocks. What have you seen there? What would be an example?
Um, Yeah, so that actually is a lot of where we're seeing even just those stressors showing up, right?
Okay.
So where you're actually going to see the lines, like the corners of the mouth to the chin, like what we call the puppet lines, and then from the corners of the nose to the corners of the mouth. So all these lines are lines of tension.
Mm,
And same thing with between the eyebrows. That these are all lines of tension and across the forehead. And when we smile, if a smile goes to your eyes, which is really what we want, because that really is how we shine,
yeah,
we
big
do have
smile.
lines. Yeah, we do have lines when we smile. It's what happens when you relax that
Mm.
is, that replumps and has that beautiful, youthful, rehydrated, plumping.
All right, so Daphne wants a little bit of a demonstration, and I know we
Mm,
promised we should do this.
oh yeah,
Can you show us how we use the wand? Daphne says, "How
sure.
does one use the wand?" So we're going to go to
Yes.
Dr. Kathy. Let's see it.
Yeah, actually that's true. What does it look like, right?
Yeah.
So the protocol is really broken down into three segments. And the three segments are one, lymphatic drainage. That's the first few steps. And then those steps, it's about opening those lymphatic portals and then very, very gently. And this is where the product comes in because we don't want to drag. We want a good slip. So this is about the lymphatic drainage. I have seen in literally 10 days people who look like they've lost 50 pounds just from the lymphatic drainage, where they were holding it all right in here. I don't have that on a before and after on the page. I might, yeah, I don't think I have it on the page, but it is an amazing before and after because she's got all of these heavy lymphatics that are congested, and just by doing this first part of the protocol, she drains all those lymphatics and literally looks like she's 50 pounds lighter just in her face. And
Yeah.
then, or not 50 pounds in her face, but the representation of her face, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the second part of the protocol is lengthening and lifting, right? So it's about what we talked about is releasing those muscles that are dragging down on the skin and pulling our face all over the place. But this is the part where we're releasing those emotional parts. So the first is releasing all the toxins. This is about releasing all of those emotional stagnation. So it's lengthening the muscles lengthening the muscles around the mouth, lengthening the muscles that create those what we call smokers lines,
Um,
and then being able to, once you release those, being able to do the lift. So you're getting lift, lift. So it's release, release, and lift, right? And then the same thing happens on the forehead. These lines in the between the eyebrows, releasing these lines right here, releasing the lines across the forehead that lengthen these muscles. Now you can get pop when you do the upper and lower eyelids, right? Where you can get that amazing pop. And the thing is that after you do the 30 days, you have cellular memory, muscle memory, so
ah,
that it re-pops, even it like you can see it refresh really, really quickly if you do
right.
take time off. Which is just, I mean, actually, I did this experiment where after I did not do the protocol for I think like 4 months, and then I did one side of my face. Literally in 3 days, I felt like I looked like a Picasso painting, and was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get the other side to catch up. I was so lopsided because I had that muscle memory. And then the last part of the protocol is more like a where you're using that serum to feather in some nice deep penetration of some toning and lifting and tightening. And that's the quick version of that.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. And some people were asking about like what happens if you stop.
Mm,
Obviously if you enjoy it and you find results, you want to keep doing it, but you're going to find perhaps you don't have to do as much or as often to hold the energy, which is pretty amazing. And this is kind of what I've discovered and what Dr. Kathy's discovered. And at the end of the day, you're going to be so far beyond what you would be if you hadn't done it. It's pretty remarkable. So I just recommend everybody release that energy in the face, start that emotional reset. And set your body free. The other
mhm.
part of this is, kind of like we were talking about, we didn't yet open the door to what happens with the lymph system and how important it is to make sure that we don't have stagnant lymph. I think we do this a lot when we talk about the body, but lymph also shows up in the face and the
Oh
puffiness.
yeah.
Anything you want to share about the lymph and kind of what that can cause if it's not flowing correctly in the face?
Yeah. Well, the way I like to really put it lay it out there, because this is the clutch part here, is that if the fascia is the collagen producing machine, the lymphatic system delivers the fascia to the cell. And
Mm,
collagen is a key part of having cellular repair and getting that matrix, like you talked about, in this really nice toned, perfect balance, right? But the other is that the lymphatic system is way more than what we think of, as far as what its function is. So one is that yes, it's the cleanup system. It's the garbage disposal of the entire body, where it is responsible for if you think about it, it follows the fascia. Fascia is interconnected through the whole body. It follows the cardiovascular system because the arteries and the capillaries are where we have exchange of oxygen. That's where we get seepage on the extracellular space. We can only tolerate a very, very small amount of extracellular seepage. So this is where the lymphatic system is clutch in being able to clean
mm,
up that extracellular seepage of fluids, toxins, clean up like cells that are damaged, proteins that are folded, and be able to really release that by moving it, manually moving that. And even though we're very gently doing it through the face, there's a lot of lymphatic repair that's going on as well. So it has that long-term effect of the lymphatic repair as well. So you get that long-term benefits.
yeah, I recommend everybody do it at least once and then keep doing it and keep maintaining it as you move into a new space without the emotional trauma that we know is tied to our body. We know now that can also cause our brain to
Mm.
relive certain
Oh yeah.
energy patterns that we don't want. Everything is connected, it's the whole system. And this is the only energetic release program that we ever have been able to find for the face. And it combines Dr. Cathy's amazing expertise in the area of acupuncture and some new things like emotional expression therapy, fascia and lymphatic health, and also cellular communication expertise. It's all tied in. It's at youwealthrevolution.com/. Cathy, CATHY 30, you can restore your regeneration template with this work. And Dr. Cathy, I love that you have a 30-day money back guarantee, and especially for people
60.
wanting a new start in 60 days for the new
Mhm.
year. Grab a package, get started, and if you're not happy, she guarantees you're going to be so happy you're going to want to keep it, and you definitely don't want to let go of that wand. I can tell you that. If you have to return it and get rid of the wand, you're not going to want to do it. But grab it, use it, and give it a shot. It's going to be amazing. It works really well. Absolutely. And Dr. Cathy, I love it. I mean, anything else you want to share or anything that you find that is surprising for people when they try it? What surprises people the most? What is it that they go, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening? And do you ever find like there's just kind of this reaction that
Yeah.
blows people away over and over again?
Yeah. You know what? We all want to look good. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like yes, health is really important. Yes, mental health and freedom from our baggage is super super important. But we want to look in the mirror in the morning and feel good about what we see so that we can go out in our day with this amazing feeling of energy that is what we put out and it's exactly what we're going to get back. Excuse me. So, I think even though, and it's not, honestly, it's not about vanity. It's not about, keeping up with the 20, 30-year-olds. It has to do with just our self-image and knowing that it's a reflection of how we take care of ourselves and a reflection of our joy. And because this is actually a way to release those emotional traumas that are stuck on our face that sometimes, are making us look older or more aged or more fatigued or more angry or more stressed or more sad. These are the things that are really just holding us back from being able to be in our ultimate expression, right? And I don't see the skin. It's not aging. It's just asking for reconnection. It's just asking for,
Wow.
being able to like reconnect.
Yeah. Well, that definitely is very clear with this image, because you would think, okay, this is age. Well, if this happened at the end of
Hmm.
20 some days, what
Hmm.
was it really? And
Yeah,
what
good
will it
point.
be for you? It's mind-boggling. We are far more amazing and powerful and tied to eternal life than we realize. And I think it's time to reconnect to that. Absolutely. I love it. It's here, youwealthrevolution.com/Cathy30. Do not wait. You could be actually launching into 2026 with a whole new a whole new feeling and less emotional trauma held in your face. Let it all go and move into a new world. And let's not forget that we first make contact with the world and our field and the fields of others through our face, right? That sort of leads the body as we move into our future. And we do not want to lead with the old emotional trauma or the words, the actions, the sentiments of other people that have hurt us and have been stored in our face and ultimately somewhere in our body as well because it's all connected. This is a magical combination of a lot of technologies and sciences, and it's been shown to work like nothing else I've ever seen. So check it out, youwealthrevolution.com/Cathy30. Cathy, amazing. Dr. Cathy, thank you for being here. This was great as usual. I love it.
Thank you. I so appreciate being able to come on and share this work that I've been,